But before we dive in, make sure to click on the link below to get notified so that every time the Creator's Portal of Knowledge is coming on with new information of knowledge for your path of self-rediscovery, you are able to tune in, share, like, subscribe, and make sure to leave a comment so that we can engage more, interact more, and grow together. Hey y'all, welcome back to the Creator's Portal of Knowledge. We're going to dive into it today. We're going to talk about the chakras, right? Because it is a very important thing to understand about yourself. And I'm not going to get into the history about who discovered it, where it came from, the Sanskrit word, and this, because the reality is that it doesn't matter who discovered it. It doesn't matter where it came from. The fact of the matter is that it exists in every single living thing, especially humans that exist worldwide, right? The chakras are our energetic center wheels that allow life force energy to flow through us. And each and every one of them play a very major, important role in our lives, in how we communicate and how we interact and how we see ourselves and how we show up. But not only that, also the foods that we eat, the things that we indulge in, the nutrition that we bring into our body can either empower our chakras or disempower our chakras, right? And many things can empower or disempower our chakras. The sounds, the vibrations that we listen to, the colors that we are connecting to, the words of affirmation that we are connecting to, every single one of them empowers our chakras. So it is not, or disempowers our chakras. So it is not just as simple as knowing the location and the colors of the chakras, but also truly understanding what it takes to have your chakras balanced, what it takes to understand that when one chakra is out of whack, the other chakras are out of whack, because they all flow genuinely with one another. So let's start off talking about the first chakra, the root chakra. And by the way, we're only going to focus on the 7 chakras today, the 7 major chakras, because the reality is that the body has a total of 114 chakras. And so imagine if I were to go into talking about 114 chakras in this one video, it would be an endless video to watch. So today we're just going to focus on the 7 main chakras. Let's start off with the root chakra. The root chakra, it is located at your pelvic area, right at the bottom between your 2 legs, right in the hip bone area. This is what holds the energetic chakra, the energy wheel of the root. It is identified with the color red. It is a chakra that really influences a lot of your lower back, cockside, your skeleton, your feet, your knees, your hips, your nails, your rectum, your spine. These are all of the physical attributes of that energetic center and how it connects and expands out into the physical body, right? So when we connect to the root chakra, we are connecting to a chakra that is very much connected to the earth element, and it is all about that groundedness. It's all about that stability. It's all about the being able to physically feel stable, feel secure, feel self-sufficient, feel the embodiment of your responsibility for self, right? And how secure you feel in that. And so if growing up as a child, you began to experience a lot of instability, you began to feel, experience moments where you were told like whatever you were doing wasn't good enough, or even your mother or your father in giving you the love and the nurture that you needed as a child growing up, what happens is that this begins to create imbalances in your root chakra. And when your root chakra is not in balance, then you are in a space of feeling insecure. You're probably not stable in relationships. You're probably not stable in your living environment. There's some lack of stability even with grades at school and connections to others. There can be a sense of like not owning up to responsibilities, always wanting to blame everything on everyone else, and kind of being in this victim, I need to be rescued kind of mentality and way of behaving. So this root chakra can be harmonized, can be brought to balance with many different ways. One of the things that I always encourage individual is to really, really, truly be connected to your foot. Your foot, it is the main supporter of your root chakra. So by simply massaging your foot and allowing yourself to feel some massaging at the bottom of your foot can truly, truly bring you into a sense of feeling more grounded onto the earth. Walking barefooted outside, allowing your feet to touch the ground and making that connection to receive some of that earth vibrational frequency to come in through the planter of your feet. Meditations such as just visualization of roots coming out of the bottom of your feet and grounding down into the ground, deep into the ground, can also support. And while these are all simple suggestions to bring you into some sort of balance with the root chakra, there's also the understanding of doing the deep work, the really uncomfortable stuff, the yucky stuff that nobody really likes to face, because let's be honest, who wants to go backwards? Who wants to look into the yucky moments of our lives that were not the best memorable moments, right? And so this is when we start going into doing some more of the root work, shadow work, and asking yourself questions as simple as like, how much nurturing did I receive from my mother? And what are the parts of that lack of nurturing that I didn't receive from my mother am I still seeking out from other people and not giving to myself, right? What is it that in my life can use more stability, and where have I lacked stability in my life? Where have I lacked consistency? Because this is going to be able to bring you into a space of awareness. And not only is it going to bring you into a space of awareness, but with awareness comes power, because now you have the knowingness of what needs to shift in order to bring about a different result, right? And so when we get into a space of truly understanding to the depth the dynamic of the root chakra, and understanding that this is an area that really requires attention to self, that requires accountability, that requires good nurturing with foods that are rich in yellow, like pomegranates, like red apples, beets, potatoes, carrots, any vegetable that you can possibly think of that is an earth vegetable, that is a root vegetable, is going to really empower the root chakra from functioning the way that it's supposed to function, right? Allowing yourself to sit up straight all the time, because our spine is the main connector, the main foundation is held of our spine is held by the root chakra. So when you're able to allow yourself to sit straight, what you're allowing is a straight flow of energy to go through, to continue to rise up through the chakras, for your oxygen to continue to rise in a straight way of a flow within your body, right? Allowing yourself to move, bringing movement that are embody the hips, like doing hula hoops, and allowing yourself. This is why in a lot of cultures the twerking is such a big thing, because this is a way to really move energy around in this root chakra, and allowing any energy that may be stagnant. And what causes stagnant energies are moments of insecurity, are moments of not having stability, are moments of like truly being in this space of not feeling like you're enough, of not feeling like you deserve, and like you don't have it, you're not worthy. These are all different emotions that come up when there's an unbalance in the root chakra. And so when we begin to dive deep into the shadow work of asking ourselves reflective questions, powerful questions, to change the perspective of the mind and allow the mind to like have a switch of thoughts as how I am, who I am, what I am. Anything followed by I am is in relation to that root chakra and how you represent yourself to yourself and to the world. So when we go into the second chakra, which is right underneath, right above the root chakra, the second chakra is our sacral chakra. And with our sacral chakra, it is the chakra that really regulates a lot of our reproductive organs, our ovaries, testes for the men, the kidneys, the bladder, your prostate, your adrenal gland, which is also, the adrenal gland seems to be the gland that is very much more dominant in all of our lower chakras. And the adrenal gland is the gland that regulates our emotions, that regulate that fight or flight, that really gets into a space of allowing emotions to either flow or become stagnant, right? And so whenever our root chakra, our sacral chakra, or solar chakra, which we'll talk about next, are not in balance, our adrenal gland isn't in balance either. But let's I'm kind of jumping ahead, right? So with the sacral chakra, you have a lot of these, your large intestines, lower back area, your kidneys that are in the back, but directly connected to that sacral chakra that is right beneath the belly button, and above the pelvic. This chakra truly goes into a space of creativity, truly goes into a space of allowing us to connect to our intimacy, to the way that we receive pleasure, to the way that we encounter sexuality and nourishment for ourselves and towards other, the way that we honor ourselves, the way that your magnitude of manifesting comes in. And because it is all about that reproduction, that creation, it is the chakra of I feel, so everything that is followed by the word I feel, by the affirmation of I feel, is in direct connection to your sacral chakra. And when you have a sacral chakra that is unbalanced, right, you look at the foods that are in relation to the color orange. I mentioned carrots before because carrot is a root vegetable that relates very much to the root chakra, even though it is not red. However, when we bring it into the sacral chakra, there's a lot of different vitamins, minerals that are in the carrots that support the adrenal gland, that support our kidney function, that support the bladder, right? You're looking at fruits like mangoes, you're looking at fruits like pumpkin, you're looking at fruits like orange, and these are all different foods that will empower your all of the organs that are in connection to that sacral chakra, so that your body is producing the appropriate hormones and the appropriate vitamins to allow you to be regulated at a balanced flow, right? And when we get deeper into the shadow work of the chakra and we really want to integrate and understand ourselves better, the questions you want to be asking yourself is like, how intimate am I with myself? Never mind about another relationship, because the sacral chakra does play a huge role in intimacy with relationship. But what about the relationship with yourself? How creative are you? Can you become sensual with yourself and really understand and enjoy the essence of your own sensuality? of your own intimacy, of your own mentoring, of being able to have that internal dialogue of creativity, of bringing ideas into a reality with confidence. And the confidence plays a huge role in the next chakra, which is the solar plexus. But again, all of the chakras are intertwined with one another. So when one is out of balance, the other ones are out of balance as well. And so when we're looking into bringing more balance into the sacral chakra, you want to look into different poses that are in relation to yoga with movement that allow you to become creative in how flexible you can become with your body, in how much of your breath you can allow to guide the movement of your body, allowing yourself to doing things that are creative like art and drawing. When I hear people saying, oh, I don't really know how to draw anything but a stick figure, it allows me to understand that perhaps there's a little bit of off balance in the sacral chakra of this individual, right? Or allowing yourself to dance and express yourself through movement with dancing. And when I hear people that say, oh, well, I pretty much dance like if I have one foot, this also is a sign to me that there could be a bit of adjustment in balancing that chakra out. And so there are many different movements, many different activities that could be done. I would say if you are an individual who is connected to pornography, pornography is something that truly does take away from our creativity. It creates a hole in our sacral chakra that doesn't allow for us to become creative. And therefore, in moments of intimacy and moments of becoming one with another person, there is this separation because the mind is kind of stuck on the idea of what the TV pornography has taught you, that this is what sex should look like, feel like, sound like. And therefore, you cannot perform at your own creative connection, intertwining with another person and becoming one. There's this separation there. And so these are things that weaken our soul, our sacral chakra, things like pornography, things like saying like, I don't feel that I'm intuitive. Anything that you feel and there's a lack behind it, it's affirmation that are disempowering your sacral chakra. And so the goal is to be able to have that confidence within ourselves that we are creative and in tune enough with ourselves that we can feel everything around us. We can feel the plants breathing. We can feel the trees vibrating. We can feel the earth underneath our feet, and we can feel the energetic current and penetration of vibration that is in our surrounding and that we interact with, because our sacral chakra is strong enough to be able to sustain the ability to really feel. And as well as it is, because it is connected to creativity and to creation and reproduction, it is also connected to the water element, which the water element is all about emotions, it's all about feeling, it's all about that flow. And when things are not in a state of flow in our life, it locks up the sacral chakra to not have that fluidity that it needs to have in order to get things moving, in order for things to flow in and come through the mind as a creative form to then manifest them into the physical. So these are all different observations that you can pay attention to your own self and asking yourself, how is my level of intimacy with myself? How is my relationship with sensitivity, with sensuality, with myself and the things around me and the people that I interact with? How are my relationships with other people? Because this is all going to play a role in you having that awareness of how balanced or unbalanced your sacral chakra is. Now, when we talk about the solar plexus, which is the third chakra, right above our navel, right above our belly button, right between our sternum and the belly button. This is the chakra that is associated with the color yellow. It is associated with the stomach, with the liver, with your small intestines, with your abdomen, with your pancreas. And so these are all of the organs that are associated with this chakra. And now, whenever you are in this constant state of having stomach pain, nauseated, having pancreatic problem, having gallbladders, I've heard about people having to have their gallbladder removed. This really comes into the sense of asking yourself, you know, how much inner peace do I have within myself? How much willpower, like how is my willpower? If you tell yourself, you know what, I am going to fast all day today, how strongly do you stick to your words when you are going to commit to something? Or is it that your solar plexus is not balanced and weakened, so the moment food presents itself, you're ready to just munch on and forget about the fact that you just committed to fasting? You know, where is your level of self-acceptance? Are you someone who is just like, hey, this is how I am, this is how I'm gonna show up, this is who it is, how I am? Or are you the type of person that are like this, but then when the crowd comes around, you become like this and you're quiet and you're checking your hair and like, oh, look, I got something over here, which is okay, you know? Meanwhile, if you're not in a place of self-acceptance, you want to be accepted by everyone else, and you're worrying about this white blotch of dry gel, of dry aloe gel stuck here, and you're worried about if you're gonna be accepted because of how you dressed, or you're worried about, you know, if you're gonna be overlooked or underlooked. Meanwhile, if you really accept yourself, which with a balanced solar chakra, you're gonna fully accept yourself, you don't really worry about things like that. You only really care about showing up and being you, being who you know how to be and who you feel comfortable with being, without any guilt, without any shame around it. Because shame and guilt are two emotions that can really truly deplete our solar plexus. And if you listen to the word solar, it is connected to the sun, to that bright, that light bulb, and that's what that space is all about. It's about you coming through and shining through, you coming through and just showing up, and you coming through and just having that confidence of like, this is how I am, who I am, what I am, and I am happy with it, without any fucks giving about what anybody else feels or think, right? And so when you are in that space, you're able to trust yourself. You're able to trust your decisions. You're able to trust the intuition. You're able to trust the discernments that come up. And when you get a gut feeling about something, you don't question it. You really stand by that gut feeling, regardless of what anybody else is telling you, even if it is contradicting your gut feeling, because you have a balanced solar plexus. And so when there isn't a balanced solar plexus, what happens is that it sounds like my dog just got beat up by the chickens. So, okay, back to what I was saying. When you don't have a balanced solar plexus, what ends up happening is that your confidence isn't truly there. You are constantly in denial about what's coming up for your gut and your gut feeling, that quote unquote, like I got a gut feeling, like that intuition, that discernment that comes up with certain things. You are having chaotic sort of feeling. You don't feel like you're worthy. You don't feel like you are good enough. And so what ends up happening is that we tend to isolate ourselves. We tend to shy away from showing up in the world. And this is when you recognize, like, hey, there is some unbalance in my solar plexus. So what can I do to enforce and enhance the solar plexus? The solar plexus, first of all, foods are going to be a huge support to support those organs that are associated, that I mentioned before, with your solar plexus. So the food that you eat, foods that are rich in yellow, like bananas, pineapples, your mango, your yellow squash, lemons, the avios. I mean, there's so many amazing fruits. I'm trying to pull them all out of my head right now that can support that solar plexus, so that all of the nutrients that those food bring can bring the right proper amount of nutrients to those organs to have the greatness of the flow of life force energy flowing through it and allowing that solar plexus to be spinning the way that it's supposed to be spinning. But what is happening if your nutrition is on point and you're eating everything that I just mentioned and beyond, right? And beyond what I just mentioned, that are associated to that color yellow and of empowering, but you still feel this stagnant energy. This is when it's time to go in and do that shadow work. You ask yourself questions like, what about myself have I not yet accepted that I need to accept, or that I need to just shift in order to accept? Right? And sometimes it may go deeper than that. Sometimes it may go from still wanting to be accepted from your mother, from your father, from your caretaker. And because you are still seeking that validation and that acceptance from them, you may not allow yourself to accept yourself fully for who you are. So therefore, that's some work that needs to be done there, of letting go and releasing those expectations of acceptance from other people. How many times, ask yourself, how many times have I denied myself of trusting myself, trusting my gut feeling? And what has been the result of that? Because so many times we continuously, over and over and over again, continue to ignore our gut feelings. And because we ignore our gut feelings, then we find ourselves in situations or in relationships or in interactions, experiences, circumstances that then we're beating ourselves up like, damn, I freaking knew it. If I would have just listened to myself. But how many more times do you really got to go through that? Versus analyzing and reflecting that, hey, it happened one time, it happened the second time, 3 times. Damn, it's happened quite a few times. So maybe perhaps it's time for me to really start listening to that gut feeling. And I wonder what would happen if I finally start listening to that. What would happen is that you will start building trust within yourself. You will start building trust within yourself, and you will be able to come across people that you're going to know whether to trust or not. You're just going to understand it because you are energetically vibrating the essence and the energy of trust. You have an empowered, solid, strong solar plexus that is going to allow you to identify the energetic fields that come into your world and saying, that's not to be trusted. It's iffy, I don't know, you can back that up, And so when you are able to identify the trust within yourself by following your gut feeling, it leads you into a space of knowing who and when to trust the moment. And even asking yourself questions like, what are the thoughts that are surrounding my mind? What are the affirmations that are surrounding my mind that do not align with inner peace? Because the thoughts that are not in alignment with inner peace are going to be the thoughts that creates that chaotic feeling within. Chaotic emotional vibrations all over the place that make you feel like you are all over the place, right? And so when you begin to identify the thoughts that are not in alignment, that do not support inner peace, and instead they support chaos, they support drama, they support lack of self-security, then you are going to be able to start doing the work to shift those thoughts into affirmations that are going to empower you, that are going to bring you inner peace, that are going to allow you to trust the process and trust yourself, and bring that solar plexus back into a balanced space of rotation and allowing that energetic life force energy to flow through you the way that you desire for it to flow. And when you are in a space of trusting yourself, then guess what happens? Your willpower becomes stronger, and you are able to become more consistent in following through with the things you say you're going to do. So when you are in a space of not having that consistency, of not having a follow through of commitment with what you say you're going to do, this is because your willpower is weakened, because the life force energy of the soul of your solar plexus is not flowing the way that it's divinely created to flow. And so the more that you're able to trust yourself, the more that you become more consistent, the more that you can continue to follow through and have a strong willpower to commit to that fast that you said you were going to do for 3 days. And now you are on day 2, and no matter how much fried chicken, potato chips, grandma's beans and the rice and the sauté vegetables that are shown to you, it's not going to matter, because your willpower is strong enough to understand that a day later, once you reach that 3 day, at the end of the day, you'll be able to indulge in all of that. But in the meantime, you have to stay committed to that commitment of fasting that you promised yourself. And therefore, you can learn that, hey, I can trust myself. I can trust myself because I said I was going to do something and I went through with it. And this starts to build more strength and more empowerment in that solar plexus, right? And with all that, it brings you into a space of appreciation and gratitude for yourself, which leads us into the heart chakra space that is connected to the color green. And the color green is connected to this earth that is so abundant and amplified and wide and vast, right? And with our heart chakra, it is connected to our heart, it is connected to our lungs, it is connected to our circulatory system, it is connected to our shoulder, it is connected to our breast, it is connected to our upper back. So how we stand and how we sit and how we support our back says a lot about where your heart chakra space of alignment is at balance, right? Because when it is at balance, we can feel love for everything and everyone, and ourselves especially. We can feel gratitude all the time. We can feel joy. We can feel compassion. So when someone, that was one quite of a bug that just flew by me. So when someone is going through something, you can feel that compassion for them. You can hold space. And most importantly, when people do you wrong, you can forgive. You don't hold grudges. But when you do have a heart center space that is not balanced, what happens is that you tend to hold grudges easily. You're not as compassionate towards others. There's not much understanding or acceptance of them, right? You aren't generous because there's this scarcity sort of mindset behind everything that you do and everything that you interact with, versus it being generous, versus having a sense of generosity. So these are all the things that, when in relation to the heart chakra, when we connect to these emotions and these spaces, we're able to recognize, like, hey, am I always in a space of lacking and focusing on what I don't have? Or am I always in a space of gratitude and being grateful for what I do have at the very moment, with the understanding that all things that I desire will come, will arrive in their divine order and in their divine timing? Because the more that we can be in this space of gratitude, the more that our heart expands and flows and rotates. And this, the heart center space, is the bridge between our lower chakras and our upper chakras. And with this heart center space, all that connects up here with the divine is able to circulate down and pour into our lower chakras, into the material chakras, right? Our carnal chakras. And all that is flowing at the bottom can rotate and ascend up through the bridge of the heart chakra to be delivered up into the cosmos as a message of, hey, this is what I desire. This is what I'm working on creating. This is what I'm wanting to bring into my life. And when you have a balanced heart chakra, then everything can flow through up and down, giving and receiving in a generous way of aligned timing and management of all coming in together. But when our heart chakra space is blocked, I don't even like to use the word block, right? There is no such thing as block, but stagnant is the best way. Because if it's blocked, it's like you can never get through it, right? But if it's stagnant, you can maneuver it and have it dissolve to get it flowing again. So when we get into the space of having our heart chakra flowing and balance, then you can look at this bridge like a bridge that doesn't have traffic, and the energy can continue to flow up and down and travel. All that you desire down here travels up, it is expressed, it is seen, and it is delivered. And then the universe receives it and starts to collect it all, and then drops it down into the body to physically manifest it in the physical form, right? So this is a really important space to really be connected with your breath. Through breathing, we are able to really bring in that circulation of oxygen, but also the circulation of blood, which the blood is what represents the physical of that life force energy within our body, and allows through our breath for everything to be channeled and connected together, right? So foods, the foods that are great, think of all of your green foods. So like your cucumber, your broccoli, your leafy greens, your cabbage, your cabbage, I'm having kale, spinach, mint, all of these amazing herbs that are really, really just interconnected with allowing the flow of circulation of blood in our body, allowing the circulation of our oxygen so that our oxygen, our lungs can really be expanded and in a space of fully receiving the oxygen that is needed to continue to flow through us all the time, right? So having all of those things in mind, you are able to now have a clear channel of energetic life force energy to express, to allow all of the creation from the bottom to be created into words and expressed out through the mouth. And this is where the throat chakra comes in. And our throat chakra becomes our fifth chakra, which is associated with the color blue. And when I think of the color blue, I think about the skies. Even though it's getting dark here, the moon, the sun is going down, so it's getting dark. But I think of the sky, and when I think of the sky, I think of the wind. I think of the air element. I think of the air being connected to the messenger, to being that element that is the one that allows the flow of the messages to get through, the expression, the way that when the wind comes, the trees begin to express themselves in waves, the plants, the leaves. And I think about the organs that are associated with the throat chakra. So you have like your thyroid gland, you have your mouth, you have your teeth, you have your jaw, your neck, you have your ears. Oh, have you ever massaged your ear? This is a beautiful, beautiful way of bringing balance and centeredness into the throat. Like you can literally, as I'm massaging my ear right now, I can literally feel all of these tendons from the neck being pulled. And you can feel even that pull into the thyroids in this area being massaged as you're massaging your ears, right? And so when we're able to have a throat chakra that is balanced, we're able to communicate, we're able to express freely, we are in our truth. So there are no secrets, there are no hidden agendas, there aren't anything that it's difficult to set in place as far as like setting boundaries, because you understand that you're able to freely express what you desire. And so you set it into place, you speak it into existence. And the way that your throat chakra is at balance is when your root chakra is at balance, when your sacral chakra is at balance, when your solar is at balance. These lower three chakras are a huge component of how balance your throat chakra is going to be. So this is like what I said in the beginning, the way that one chakra moves is going to intertwine and connect with all the other chakras. And so if your lower chakras are not at balance, it's very difficult for you to have a balanced throat chakra. So did a little bit of light fixture here. Back to the throat chakra. When we are able to express ourselves freely, when we are able to communicate boundaries, when we are able to really be in a space of speaking our truth and not having to come up with white lies or silver in between the line messages, hidden messages, we're just able to freely speak in our truth. This is a defined definition of a balanced throat chakra. And so what are some ways to bring the throat chakra into balance, right? Breathing, it's one of them. Allowing yourself to as you can feel any stagnant energy to be released and let go of, right? Allowing yourself to extend your tongue out as much as you can, right? Allows for that flow of energy in the throat. But on a more physical, you want to connect to foods that are rich in blue, like blueberries. What other foods can you think of that are rich in blue? Allowing yourself to drink plenty of water. The water is very important for that communication space to be open to flow. But most importantly, you want to connect to all of your lower chakras and seeing where those chakras are at. Where is the balance with those? Because if the balance is not there with those, then you will not have the balance necessary for the throat chakra to freely be open and flowing in this energetic life force energy flow, so that then your thyroids can work appropriately. The muscles in your neck can be loose and flaccid and not stiff, so that you have the flexibility in your ears, so that your teeth are nice and strong and healthy, your gums, your jaw doesn't feel tight. You know, I often hear of people that have this grinding of the teeth at night. You know, this is usually when you have an unbalanced throat chakra, because you are holding in so much. You're not allowing yourself to fully express. You're keeping secrets, you're keeping agendas, and then it's tightening everything up here so much, so tight that all of the neck muscles become tight, and then next thing you know, the jaw feels tight. And so at night, when it's the only time where your body is relaxed, it brings the jaw into moving side to side to be able to loosen up your jaw. So these are all little tiny details to consider when wanting to bring awareness to your throat chakra as to whether it's balanced or not balanced, right? And so with that being said about holding in, let's jump into the first eye. A lot of people call this the third eye. In the chakra system, it is known as the third eye. I call it the first eye. And I call it the first eye because it is truly the eye of our spirit being, of our energetic body. And it is the eye that will always remain and that has always been there before we came into this avatar body. And so with our first eye, your first eye is connected a lot to being in a place of having no attachments, of being able to see and visualize and allowing yourself to dream, right? Like, how is the dream world for you? How are your connection with your eyesight? How is the connection with your sinus tract, your nose, your breathing? These are all things that truly bring you into a space of having better understanding of how your third eye balancing is at. Right at the center here of our head, we have a gland called the pineal gland, some may call it. And this is a gland that is directly connected to our first eye. And our first eye is a true engager of our wisdom, of how we bring into discernment information, how we are able to interpret what we see, how we are able to connect to our dreams and receive messages through our dreams. Our first eye is the eye that, when it is in a place of balance, we are able to truly see the world for the energetic vibration that it is and that it has. This is why sometimes you connect to people that say, oh, I can see a yellow orb around you. These are the people that have a very well balanced first eye. I can see the red around your shoulders, or I can see like this green emanant flowing out of your chest. And it is because they are very much in tune with the wisdom of their first eye. And with the wisdom of their first eye, they are able to have with the balance of their first eye, they're able to have a very expansive imagination. They are able to easily step into lucid dreaming moments. They are able to easily tap in to the energetic field of seeing, of having that clairvoyance activated very easily, very fast, because it is something that it is truly balanced for them. And a lot of knowledge comes from your first eye. And a lot of knowledge may come to your first eye from this lifetime, from other past lifetimes, and from future lifetimes that don't even exist just yet in this realm. And so how do we know when we are having a first eye that is not balanced? What are the kind of things you want to ask yourself? Perhaps, like, how much am I remembering my dreams? And when I do remember, how much of it can I interpret on my own without having to go out asking someone else to interpret my dreams for me? How is my connection to discernment, to really truly understanding when something is coming from a place of discernment, or is it coming from insecurities? How much am I able to really create something, allow something to be created in my sacral chakra, and then allow that creativity to come up and bring it into an imaginative flow of being able to seal it and feel it and really bring it into the essence as if it already exists. These are the different things that you can kind of gaze and look at to understand where is the balance of your first eye, and how much do you trust what is coming up? How much do you truly believe in what it is that you are seeing, or are you doubting it? Because again, if you are in a space of doubting it and not truly believing in what you're seeing, it brings you back down to that solar plexus not being balanced. You see, they're always connected. There's always as above, so below. Okay, and as below, so above. Everything is connected within one another. And so that brings us into the last chakra, the crown chakra, right? The crown chakra, which is directly connected to our pineal gland. And it is also what is connected to the brain and to the skull, to that ancestral symbolism of the skull. Allows us to really be able to see the beauty in everything, allows us to see that we ourselves are source. This is where we receive the information. When everything else is aligned here, it's like suddenly you can clearly hear the voice of the divine. You can clearly connect and hear and feel the essence of all existence around us, right? And a lot of times, when we are in a space of doubting ourselves, when we are in a space of not believing in ourselves, when we are in a space of like, just kind of like going day by day, just complaining about everything, about not feeling connected to anyone or anything, and not seeing the divinity in all that there is and that exists. This is a significance that your crown chakra is clogged, it's stagnant, it's not really moving in the way that it should be flowing with the energetic life force energy. And so there are many foods that can enrich and empower our brain, right? Things like the blueberry, because the blueberry is so much connected with the throat and the first eye, and everything is so close in diameter here, versus our lower chakras that there's more space in between them. But here everything is kind of like crushed in together, and so almost the majority of the same foods that pertain to here can pertain to your first eye and your crown chakra. Things like eggplants, things like walnuts, the blueberries I mentioned. Having a little bit of a brain fart on a lot of the foods that are coming up for the crown chakra. However, I will be doing a chakra and nutrition session for y'all, so that y'all can dive into a little bit of how you can nourish your chakras through nutrition. And so one of the things that it's really, really important to bring into balance for the crown chakra is the understanding of your oneness with the universe, your understanding of oneness with your entire body, your spirit body, your emotional body, and all that exists around you, understanding the divinity, the divine nurturing essence that there is in everything that exists and that lives. And so when we connect to that, we're able to expand our crown chakra even more. We're able to embrace all of the energetic flows that flows from the bottom up, and then once reached up here can circulate and connect into dropping down into our body, for us to really integrate into our higher self, into our divine self, into our manifesting self, into the space that allows the crown to be opened up, so that all that is flowing through here can go out through the antennas, the hairs that are so connected through the crown chakra, right? Your antennas, these are the antennas that pull in all of the energetic pull that is gravitating and manifesting in your reality based on what you are vibrating inside. So this is why it's so important to really dive into your chakras, right? Because the more you understand what the property of each chakra is emotionally, nutritionally, color, elemental, sound, which we didn't get into, but we will be getting into when we go into the nourishing your chakras through nutrition. These are all specific forms and ways that the more aware you are of them, the more empowered you are within yourself, the more empowered you are in manifesting to you, because now you're understanding what kind of vibrational emotion, which is just energy in motion. And when these emotions are kind of being held hostage and there's all these expectations, then they become stagnant, and then the energy is not able to flow through. So these are all beautiful factuals, knowledgeable, wisdom is information that hopefully can support you on your journey of self-rediscovery and understanding yourself more, understanding more of how and why you operate the way that you do, and how you can bring yourself into balance to truly bring into your world more of what you desire and less of what you dislike. So, these chakras are one of my favorite topics to talk about. So today we are diving into the chakras and the importance of understanding that our energetic centers are literally the magnitude and the pull into our existence of all that we manifest.